It's safe to say that being outside in cold weather really takes a toll on all of us. Obviously, it can put a damper on your spirit. Obviously, being in the elements for too long can really negatively impact your health if we're not cautious.
And we all know the dangers of being exposed to those cold temperatures, but how does that environment impact our furry friends? Well, here to explain more are Kim Knox, she's the Executive Director of the Humane Society of Wicomico County, and Amanda Hottenstein, she is a foster coordinator, and Prudence is here as well. Thank you both for being here. Tell us a little bit about Prudence.
So Prudence is one of our medical cases. She's just a baby. She's only 7 months old.
Really?
We think that she was probably kept in a crate her entire life. She does not know how to walk on a leash yet or be a dog, but she's learning very quickly, and her skin is clearing up very quickly.
That's
thanks
awesome.
to our foster coordinator who gets these dogs out into homes
Thank you for that.
to be
Appreciate
taken
it.
care of.
Okay, so for people who don't really know, can you give us a quick overview of what the Humane Society does for the community?
A lot. We do low-cost spay and neuter, which our clinic is a full up and running clinic. We do a lot of emergency surgeries for people that are lower income. Of course, we do adoptions.
Right.
We do vaccine clinics. We do all kinds of things.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah. So as we mentioned, we wanted to talk a little bit about the cold. It seems like we're always, every time it gets cold, we're saying, don't leave your dogs outside. So we just think, what are some safe conditions if our dogs do have to be outside for any amount of time?
So for us, this is the hardest part because I never want to see a dog kept outside. But it is not illegal to keep your dog outside, and that's what people need to understand, as long as they're provided the proper structure in, and it's very specific in the code what they have to have. So their doghouse has to have the 4 sides, the roof,
Right.
a doorway. We suggest that everybody use straw instead of hay, no blankets because they just hold in the cold.
Okay.
You're going to have to change your water out frequently because it's going to freeze. But if there's any way to bring them inside, ultimately that's what we want.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this. Obviously, we're talking about cold. We bring the dogs in from the cold. What should we do? Anything? Just let them run around?
So salt is a big problem. People don't realize all the salt that's on the ground can actually be pretty detrimental to the dogs. So you
Okay.
should wipe their feet off when you first bring them in if they were out in salt. Like I was carrying her around out front to try to potty, and I had to quick find the spots that didn't have salt, so we didn't have to deal with that. As long as they weren't out too long, they can just come in and act normal. But some dogs, like we got a medical case in yesterday that had really, really red feet. She clearly had been out too long in the cold. So you don't want to overheat their feet too fast. Like some people are like, oh, quick, put them in like warm water. That can be just as detrimental. But if it's a pet who's just out hanging around outside, I mean, they can come in and be pretty normal when they come in.
Yeah. And then should we, like with dogs, they have fur, but if they do go outside and play, should we put a jacket on? I mean, you have a little jacket on, Prudence.
She has a jacket on because she has a skin issue, and she definitely doesn't really have the fur to keep her warm right now. Her hair is growing back, but she came to us pretty much 95% hairless. So that's why she has one on. Most dogs, really jackets is just because we like to dress them up. I mean, my dog has thin hair, so she shivers a little, but often people forget, dogs grew up undomesticated at first. They lived outside in this weather, and they regulate their temps. Puppies, little puppies, they have a hard time regulating their body temperature. So they're ones that definitely maybe you do want to put a jacket on. It doesn't hurt to put a jacket on if you have it, but people definitely don't need to feel like they must have a coat on their dog or they can't own a dog. They can regulate their temperature pretty well. And again, if you don't have them out there too long in this cold, they'll be okay.
Yeah.
So.
But of course, it looks cool too.
Yes. Prudence looks like a little sheep.
Kim, tell us about your foster program.
Oh, well, Amanda's our foster coordinator hero. We have actually raised, and you came up, was it 169?
162 dogs in 2024 that were adopted from foster. So 2024 was really the first year we really grew our foster program, like tripled it in size of people. And dogs that go into foster homes, it helps in many ways. One, it helps that dog really adapt to a home life, so they have less of an adaptation time when they get adopted. But right now, like this time last year, we unfortunately had several dogs in our outdoor kennels at the shelter. By having a foster program, we've not had any dogs in our outdoor kennels at the shelter right now. We still definitely are at capacity of dogs, but it is nice having these foster homes, and we average about 30 dogs in foster at any time. So it helps give space in the kennels. It helps those dogs get trained and adapted to a home quicker, helps their adoption be more successful.
Can anybody be a foster?
So yes and no. I mean, it's the same thing kind of as adoption requirements. So obviously if you rent, we have to have permission from your landlord that you're allowed to have animals. And any animals you have to be up to date on vaccines. We check that. And then we try to find the best fit with the animals in your home. So, because obviously we don't want to just be mixing a ton of different dogs and it not be successful. But that's where I come in. I get to know your dogs, your lifestyle, your family, what you're willing to work with, and we see what fits best.
And Prudence will eventually be up for adoption?
Yeah, I mean, if she's not on our website yet, if someone really loved her already and was willing to do the work she needs to still get better, we'd probably let them adopt her. But she's getting better every day. Yeah. She's learning to be a dog. She loves her foster siblings. She's a good girl. She's silly. She's just being tired right now.
She is a good girl.
But she's a little stinky right now, but that'll get better as her skin gets better. So, but yes, she will be up for adoption.
Kim, Amanda from the Humane Society of Wicomico County, thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you for having us.